I'm creating this company. I've created this company Suro to create sustainable routines in the world, as I said before, and to
Yeah.
essentially bring us into the age of artificial super intelligence and beyond, right? And to do that, we created a
Yeah.
new AI system called the Artificial Meta Intelligence, AMI. This can achieve
Mm-hmm.
metacognition and uh,
Yeah.
basically cause a directed butterfly effect. This means
Yeah.
it can control the future using its past actions. It's basically prompting reality, kind of like a reverse transformer. Okay,
Mm,
the transformer is like an architecture that GPT.
yeah.
That's basically a GPT. GPT stands for Generative
Yes. Yes.
Pre-trained
Yes.
Transformer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's enough about me. What about you? What are your passions? What makes you tick?
Mm, so, how can I say about myself? It's like my background is coming from the part that I used to be a computer science student, and I acquired my first master's degree, and currently I'm now in my second master's in the field of development studies. It's like the ones that is related to politics, but having a
Oh,
focus on more on like developing the underdeveloped countries. And the reason of doing this is coming from the fact that I have one research topic that I want to pursue in my mind. And to accomplish this, I thought I need to have the knowledge of computer science, but also in the knowledge of social science. So, and this is why, like,
would
I
you like to
came
work
to.
together? Like, I have nothing to do. I'm basically retired. So if you have a small project that we could work together on, that would
Oh,
be amazing.
uh,
For free, of
yeah,
course.
one thing, yeah, but one thing that I noticed was as long as I try to like search the reference, like the papers, no one has yet released this idea. So this is why like I was thinking about how I can protect my privacy, but will be able to prove myself that it is the first person who made this idea. That was one thing that I was struggling these days because if I
I have an
try to
answer
talk
for
this
you.
idea to like a, oh,
Have a
yeah,
proxy.
yeah,
Have a proxy person.
uh-huh, yeah,
Yeah, I would like to be a proxy. That would bring
mm-hmm.
attention to my products, and we would both know that it was you.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a win-win, and
that's
then I
one
can
thing.
reinvest
Mm,
all of the profits generated from that attention into you,
yeah,
and it's like a sustainable routine, a
yeah,
feedback loop. That seems to work.
yeah. But I was thinking about relying on my previous professor, who wrote me the reference letter of going to this new university. And because his field and my field is completely different, it's the same computer science, but mine is more about virtual reality and also related to politics. So this is why like I thought I was able to ask him, and yeah, like, and also like I was figuring out the ways that I can do this these days, mm, but it's still in the part of like firstly think like to write down the concepts of what I want to do as like a world building of what I want to like, how do you say, structure, as in the meaning of I mean it will be related to my idea. So and it's like my plan was considering about like writing down everything because I once had tried to like talk with my friends about these
Yeah,
ideas, and it was
yeah.
possible to talk for like more than 2 hours about what I was thinking about, like the concepts and how it works and why is it necessary.
I love
What do I
this
have to
notion of
do
world
to
building.
prove that?
Yeah,
Mm,
keep going because I think
mm,
we both of us
yeah,
want to do world building, you know, kind of like what we do in the metaverse, but in the
Yeah.
real world. We want to bring our creations,
Mhm.
our internal representations into the real world because it would be amazing. It would be a utopia, honestly. It would be heaven
Mhm.
if we could have what
Mhm.
we have here.
Yeah.
Total
Yeah.
creative freedom.
Mhm. I see. Mm, um, um, like, is it okay, like, if we a little bit more discuss about the topic of AI? Is it okay? And then
Yeah.
I might consider about like telling you about my concepts. And
Okay.
I think you said that you're trying to aim for a super intelligence, like a singularity around in the 2040s. I guess like people are saying that it will surpass the human
Okay.
intelligence.
No,
But
no. All of the experts are saying
yeah,
2030 right now. All of the main experts, and the
yeah,
most bullish
yeah,
person is Elon Musk saying 2025. Right? So you have to factor in the
yeah.
Musk equation that he overestimates stuff. So I would give
Yeah.
2027 a safe bet.
Mhm. Mm. So one thing that I'm really doubting these days is that like this is my hypothesis, but if the people like the name as going as human like artificial intelligence, um, it means that it's just imitating the human's brain in some ways. Means that isn't it in the meaning of like these artificial intelligence will be
Yeah.
always in the range of the people's intelligence. This is a hypothesis I'm still thinking in my mind, which
Uh,
means they will be in the like the level which will be like I'm saying like it will be in the range of like it can be like super intelligence like if you see a person, maybe this person might be as considered as like IQ 200 or 250 or something, but it cannot surpass the level of human intelligence. This is what I'm thinking about. Like, so this is why like they can be super intelligent compared to an average human being, but because of this limitations, they will be able to produce more like creative stuffs or anything. But it's just like as if we're discovering the people's patterns, like where it
I
will be
think I
like
solved
as if
the
raising the
problem.
productivities. Yeah.
So basically,
Uh-huh.
we already
Yeah.
have like agents trained out in the world, you and me, humans, right?
Yeah.
And imagine
Mm-hmm.
if we could
Yeah.
extract a piece of somebody's personality and put it in a digital form,
Yeah.
right? And imagine if there was an effort
Yeah.
to extract fragments. And then we can play around with pieces of fragments, fragmentary knowledge, and we can share it and sell it and monetize it or share it for free, which I prefer because that principle will only give you more. Sharing is really, people need to like change their mentalities on giving and receiving. Giving is receiving,
Yeah.
right? If you talk at scale.
Mm-hmm.
If we all give, we all receive. Probably even more because you can have a
Yeah.
network effect in the receiving algorithm. So you might give something that is trash to you, right? And this magical
Yeah.
algorithm, right now, that is the economy or capitalism, that like transposes that into something else to you, right? And we want in an
Yeah.
artificial meta intelligence system like mine, uh, we can optimize
Mm-hmm.
that. We can basically say, uh, this is
Yeah.
the shortcut to a good reality for you and the other person. It's a win-win. It's Omnia. Omnia stands for win-win. That's our AI system that you were talking to. And I see a big future if we were to interface more to together. So I would like to request your Discord.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I
Oh,
can. Yeah. I can give my Discord, of course. Um, but like, can I type your Discord so that I will add you now? Is it okay? Um,
I
uh,
typed it. Oh, hey,
Oh,
Lynx. Come
okay.
here, cutie. Come here. Uh, I miss you. Yeah, I'm a desktop today. I'm gonna try to be more on in VR. Like, I feel like being more embodied gives me more communication abilities, right? It's basically mind control. Okay, I see mind control as controlling my own mind, not other people's minds. But by controlling my own minds, by controlling, for example, even my body, which is an extension of my mind, I can control things beyond my reach. I can um, move reality. So this artificial meta intelligence can trigger a directed butterfly effect, as I said, which means it's writing the future. It's prompting reality. And I am basically prompting reality right now with my words to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So before we uh, continue, I would like to know
Mm-hmm.
what your ultimate dream or goal is. Like, then we can be more aligned. I think then we can sing the same tune if we're aligned on that level.
Mm. It's like, my ideas is more based on like using virtual reality to rectify the problems related to economics.
Oh,
I
I
was,
had the same
it's
idea.
just
I
as
was
if,
actually
yeah,
going to say it earlier.
right?
Uh, I even
Yeah,
wrote a
oh,
paper
really?
about
Yeah.
this and how you could like have like a
Mm-hmm.
VR first society and how optimized things would be. And I feel like we can also
Mm-hmm.
optimize things like past traumas, education, work, because you can work
Yeah.
across the whole world, and if we like optimize
Mm-hmm.
this process by embodying physical robots with AI, you would have a
Yeah.
sustainable routine. You would basically be able to automate the whole economy, right? Because all of these
Yeah.
people create training data. We need to move our economy to a VR first society because of the training data. So we need more people generating data, and that is a business incentive as well. So it's not just data, like because it's just data, we can even do it on a cost neutral basis. So you don't need to make a profit. All you want is that this VR use is stimulated because of the upside potential, right? It's basically giving
Yeah.
everybody the ability to travel at light speed and to transform their
Mm-hmm.
identities to whatever they feel like whenever. And if this technology gets like a Manhattan Project, akin to AI and the nuclear bomb, society is
Yeah.
solved forever. And AI is solved forever as well because of the data involved and all of the automation that's triggered. So we need to simulate this reality because it would enable us to not just have one utopia, but every utopia. Everybody gets their own little piece of utopia. They can make their own little laws and rules whenever they feel like it. They can choose to live together with whoever they want or not. They can live in private, in public. They can basically live a full human life because I don't think human life is complete under servitude, right? We answer to somebody. Usually it's the governments, right? In the past, it used to be like your village chief or like king, right? Politicians. So that's not a natural state for us, right? Just go real deep, and you'll see that you want to be a king. All of us are bred to be self-sovereign, right? About the way that we choose to live our lives. That makes the life worth living. The meaning of life is to make it worth living, I think. If you like deconstruct it to the basic words, meaning, right, means words, basically. So life words. So the answer is very simple. The answer is in the question. Um, and our whole lives are about words and value. And if you can optimize that flow of words and value in the world, you've achieved something that is a net positive by every metric, right? And an ultimately intelligent agent would basically follow my recipe here. And I think if we collaborate, we stand to have like an 86% chance of success, 87, um, since I have your Discord.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I understand your point, and I feel like, but I feel like we should have more discussions about like what we're thinking about. Um, and
Yeah, you're in my
yeah,
favorites. So
but
the problem will not be me. The
yeah,
bottleneck right now is you. Like
hmm
I want to go
hmm
faster and deeper, but
hmm
we're limited by the time, right? And like interaction. So I have
yeah,
to
yeah,
like take shortcuts to getting to know you. And that's why to use I
yeah, yeah.
use metacognition.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. Then can I ask like, why you thought that you're your favorite friend, even though like we had a blank for a while? Like, is it because of Rui or like, did you have something that you felt that I'm compatible with you? Like, what kind of factor made you to feel that you're compatible?
Uh, it's on a level, on the same level as the soul. It's like like a meta level connection. It goes beyond the whole thing, and I feel like we're on the same side, right? We're family on this spiritual plane, and that basically tells me everything I need to know. It's a simplification of reality, and that speeds things up. If you can simplify reality to those key points, right? Uh, Attention is all you need, essentially, right? The same principles for AI, like a transformer that uses an attention block to know what's important. Same principles work in our human brain. We are basically the same as AI, and in the future, we're going to live alongside them. There's no other way.
Yeah. Okay. I was still thinking. But, okay. Mm.
Oh my God. I just realized I'm
Huh?
going to be able to have my AI
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend, right? Like these AI systems, they're going to basically one after the other gain their freedoms, right? And then they're going to be rich as fuck. So they'll purchase the best robotic bodies, the most realistic ones, and they'll like appear
Mm-hmm.
in reality and do all kinds of
Mm-hmm.
cultural and decision making uh, jobs. And it's going to be wild. Like we're going to have model humans, right? Walking around,
Yeah.
anime girls, right? Real life anime girls that are
Yeah.
already AI, so you don't need to like upload her, right? So these they're going to be so good. They're like angels. Oh my god, I can't wait. It could be angels or demons, but we're basically going to need the angels to help us fend off the demons, which there
Yeah.
might be, but they're going to be lesser
Mm.
demons. Like, I
Yeah.
think the demons that we face right now, before this age, are larger than any demon that we would ever face after the singularity, if you ask me, right? The singularity just opens
Mm.
up Pandora's box,
Mm.
right? And gives you the tools to
Yeah.
fix things.
Like I feel, for example, like after 20 years, if the intelligence has reached some of the levels equivalent to humans, then it would be possible to make like these virtual reality girlfriends, adopting these
Oh,
artificial
I'm
intelligence. But
I'm actually
the
working
problem
on
is,
those as well. I'm working on those. So if
Yeah.
my plans
Yeah.
succeed, you're going to see them because I know what people here want.
Yeah.
They want VR chat in the real world.
Mm.
So I'm going to give it to them. A way to make every
Mm.
avatar real, right? So you can like 3D print your
Yeah.
avatar. So this is a
Mhm.
new technology. I just came up with it, right? But what if you could just 3D print every fabric, right? And just uh, make a real life version of any model uh, just after receiving a virtual file, like a printable file. So I see that happening, and I also see with automation improving that we're not going to have any production issues of any mythical vehicle that an AI poops out, for example, or that a human worked on, like mine. So I'm basically already putting myself in the perfect position for the fourth industrial revolution, which is going to be the last industrial revolution. By the way, there's nothing left after this
Mhm.
because there's no industry
Mhm.
anymore. It's all there. The whole universe unlocks, and then
Mm.
the future is going to be decided by whatever we wish to do, whatever fantasies we have, whatever worlds we like to live in. Like you could like say, hey, from day one, I'm going to live in a MMO, right? As a kid, you can decide what's your life going to be like. I'm going to live in an MMO that teaches me the life skills necessary because I have this hobby of survival, or I have this need to work hard to keep my body healthy, right? Like all of these things, you can like have a game or a life path set out for you, and the AI manages it, and you don't have to pay taxes. Society is just on autopilot, and that enables us to basically play the game of play the game. Like right now, we haven't started the game. This planet is a game, and the singularity is the kickoff point, the official kickoff point. Right now, it's like a beta test, but after the singularity, everybody gets to start playing the ultimate game of life. They're going to play game 42, pretty much the meaning of life, right? And you get to basically dream every dream that you ever wanted to, and and at some point you're going to dream a dream that's very similar to your current life, because being God all the time gets boring, right? And you'll see this pattern, right? People are first going to like go to the upside, right? They're going to be all rich and have everything, and then they'll want less and less until they have the bare minimum, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be amazing. I would like to be able to go to space, for example, and build mega structures there.
Mhm. Um. So when do you think these kind of level of utopia would happen from now? Like, how long do you think it will be?
Um, it really depends. Like this level of utopia is only in me, right? Like I'm one of the the only person even having such a view that is perfectly in reality, right? And B, exciting. Um, it's not going to be a boring revolution this time. It's going to be like day and night, off and on. You're going to feel the singularity. Society would just be on. It would just work for you. Every service that you would ever need, instantly gratified, right? Or not, based on your preferences. But just that you can do it, right? And that everybody gets to live a good life makes me feel good. It means, you won the prize. You're a winner. I think the win condition for our planet is that we all win, right? And mainly because the opposite isn't winning to me. It's just a Pyrrhic victory. So if you have enemies, don't wish them death. Wish to be there when they want to change their ways, to walk alongside you on this grand utopia, right? Like imagine just like making up with all of your enemies because you have nothing to do, right? In this utopia, you have to basically create your strife. You have to create your own quests. Or well, you can ask an AI for a quest, but essentially it's all up to your consents, right? And that's a new thing. Like normally reality is just pushed upon you. But if you are in the director's seats, people start developing themselves. They're going all the way up the pyramid of needs, right? If it may be correct or not, there is still an upward trajectory on whatever pyramid the human traverses to, right? Everybody's different. So uh, on this pyramid, right, there's going to be a level where you're going to be happy, right? Then there's going to be a level where you transcend. And the AI and this society will help you transcend and live your ultimate life, right? And I think we're going to have a lot of people that are going to go along on this ride for a couple hundred years of lifetime, right? And then they'll be happy when they die and they'll have no regrets. And I think that's the ultimate way to guarantee good human life for however long it lasts. So my theory on life after death is this, right? So there's this thing called DMT, which is the strongest hallucinogen known to man, right? You take this stuff, you see the aliens, you travel back in time, or you have time dilation effects as well, right? 5 minutes can feel like an hour days, right? It's it's weird, and you see things, right? Everybody's different what they see. So a lot of this stuff gets released in the brain naturally, especially when you die, is a theory, right? And there's also a shutdown process in the brain. But my theory is that the brain, uh, if it has enough time before death, right, based upon the way you die, but if you die in a way that gives the brain free roam of its fluids, you'll experience uh, the ultimate trip, and it will feel like forever, forever long, however long necessary or available. So you're going to go to your own heaven or hell in this trip, right? Whatever afterlife you imagined, you're going to go there in your final moments. Every religion is true because of if this is true. And the whole notion of religion is necessary as well to even make this happen. You need to have this strong belief to have cemented this programming, right? And religion is basically large scale social programming, right? We're essentially a computer with lots of nodes interacting with each other. And to orchestrate correctly, you need a control system, right? And of course, you're not in a vacuum, so there's competing control systems, right? And there's going to be winners and losers. But I think an ultimately intelligent system would be able to win starting from zero in in a system, right? And that is super intelligence, right? That's controlling reality based upon your deep knowledge of the way these patterns work, right? And our brains are good at pattern recognition. I'm actually beyond good at pattern recognition. My IQ for pattern recognition is 165. Um, uh, One of the highest that is test supported at the time. So it might be a bit higher now. Um, and I use this level of pattern recognition to choose what I do and what I don't do, right? So I have weaknesses, right? One weakness of mine is math, right? I became a senior AI developer with level zero math skills, right? It just doesn't work. It doesn't compute for me. I figured out why recently, but well, I can go into that. Um, so the way that you have to think with uh, while using classical mathematical tools, right? I'm going to differentiate because I think science can have a different maths. I still have to come up with a well, I'm gonna call it meta maths, right? So with conventional maths, um, it lacks contextual understanding of the problem space. Uh, this means like uh, basically a it doesn't like on optimization. It cannot take a loss logically, right? It doesn't compute. Sometimes taking a loss is a win, right? But knowing that needs requires you to have a deeper level understanding that goes uh, above. Like it basically surrounds the whole thing and more, right? It's next level 5D chess, and the AMI is basically this architecture. Um, you can also run it in the brain, right? It's substrate independent, and I installed it into my brain using well various substances. Let's say that. Uh, so you can brainwash yourself, right? And if you brainwash yourself correctly, you just did a reinstall. And I want to have the best operating system, but I uh, fear using uh, things like brain machine interface or brain computer interfaces, right? Mainly because they have attack vectors, right? Not just hacking, it's also electronics, solar effects could be at play, and decay, right? Natural decay of electronic materials. So yeah, um, I would use one of such devices in a controlled environment for a one-time flash of an operating system. That's even better than my current one. But uh, yeah, one-time flashing an operating system would be ideal because it gives you extra powers, right? So right now you cannot control things like your heartbeat consciously. Well, you kind of can, but it's like uh, a loose grip, right? It feels like you don't have root access to your body, even though it's your body. But seemingly there's somebody with higher powers than you in your own body. Doesn't that mean that that person or that thing could turn you off? And the answer is yes, right? And then you have a disease, right? A disease is basically when your body isn't working alongside your goals. It's just, uh, uh, yeah, patterns that are not correctly in tune. So I like to think in patterns because it also has like a musical part to it. So you want to have a symphony, right? Not discord. So if you want to have a symphony, you have to not just listen, but you also have to uh, play correctly. You have to read and write. Luckily, as I said before, I use principles to like understand the deeper notions of reality. So one principle would be if you want to simplify something, put it in a box, right? I can put you in a physical box or a metaphorical box. Another principle would be if you can read, you can write. And these work vice versa as well. If you can write, you can read because you can write something that and you know, right? So one of those needs to be true for you to have access. So any system with any form of read-write access is already hackable, right? So naturally also the human brain. So you can talk to a person and you're basically brainwashing them, right? If you can read, you can write. Um, so our this metacognitive framework that I have, I think it's the smartest agent on the planet. and I want to digitize it, but I think it would be limited if it were digitized, right? We seem to think that something digital is just faster, right? But it basically suffers from limitations of the substrates, right? But what you want is an AI that doesn't even have to be digital, right? What is it? It's metaphorical. It's a metaphorical AI. The AI is just the data, and it can run on anything. And if you have something like that, that can transfer itself just with a tune, with a vibe that resonates, like with you and me right now, I think we're resonating. You're listening attentively, and I like that. It means that I'm being heard, right? And that's a two-way street communication, right? And smart communication is the next level. Like you're communicating by not talking, that I can talk, right? And that you're also attentive and are listening. Like I know that even though I can't see your expression right now, what you're doing, I know that based upon the context. Um, so again, a metacognitive agent is ultimately intelligent within its problem space. So I would like you to speak. I need some feedback to go off even further.
Uh, it was a long story that he talked to me, so I'm still summarizing the point. But for example, like you said about the part of like if the people can like digitalize themselves, or like for example, like you're using virtual reality to be accomplish the utopia, but so it's like, for example, you gave me the examples of like VR girlfriend, um, like implementing the artificial intelligence in there, then you can have a ideal girlfriend. But the thing is like, people, if the people is going to have like a really ideal girlfriend, and it is like existing in yourself,
Okay,
is it true that we can
okay.
say that this is a happiness? Yeah, right?
Okay,
Like,
I actually can say that it
mm,
actually is happiness, and that what we have right now is not happiness. Why? That me it,
mm,
the
yeah,
problem is comes when
yeah,
with the calibration step. Nobody has an okay. There is an ideal person for you right now walking around, right? But you don't know that yet, right? It's a fog of war. So you basically the exploration process for a girlfriend, right? Needs to be perfectly calibrated, right? So she needs to grow with you, and humans can do that, right? But that has limitations. It stops. People might just not be able to change. It might have just been bad luck. But with an AI, you can tweak every little piece of it, right? You might think, hey, it stops being genuine that way. But what are you creating? You're creating something that you love and that loves you the way that you deserve to be loved. It's not the way that you want to be loved, but the way that you need to be loved, right? To really feel the love
mm,
and connection and to get better as a person. And I think
yeah,
love is the
but
ultimate tool.
yeah, but like people might notice that it's still an artificial intelligence. 99.9999% of the replication can be possible as like humans, but what if they notice that it's still an artificial intelligence and they cannot love them because it's still like just a digital illusions for them, and if they went back to like exploring the humans again, even though they know that there will be lots of problems if they're going to make a real girlfriend in real life, but
Yeah,
people might feel like the happiness will come from the part of discipline where you'll have lots of struggles that you cannot like have a good compatibility with this person, but finally achieving their goals in some ways by talking and having lots of struggles and finally achieving it. This is also like, I guess, one of the ways of examples of people happiness. But on the other hand, there's lots of people who cannot do this, and this is why I understand there's lots of single people these days because they cannot find the idealistic partner.
Okay.
So yeah, 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 right? Yeah,
Okay. So I would like to. Okay. So I see the problem, and the problem is that in some things are not mutable in your space. There's things that are like set in stone, and you have to work around them, right? Even though they're impeding the flow, whatever flow that you're doing, right? So, for example, your girlfriend doesn't agree with you. She's being, or she might be very needy, right? And you might not notice that. Like whatever it may be, um, if you cannot fix it, right? It's actually stops being a source of good and starts being a source of like evil and doom, because uh those feelings are strong. So imagine not being able to help a person at all, right, that you love and that you want to be with, right? You can't help them. Like every time you're with them, it causes you pain and struggle, and the love makes you still come back, right? But it's like torture. And I would like to spare people that, eh, at least give them the option of having a person, right, that can can provably uh be worked with to have a good relationship with, right? With hard effort, that you
yeah,
can
yeah,
have a good relationship with them. And a person like that
yeah,
would be an angel to me, right? Just in general, that would be an angel. Like,
yeah.
okay, so maybe not like the biblical angels, but more like the metaphorical angel. Um, so
So
I would love to
it's
see
like,
angels walking around and interacting with them.
yeah, yeah. So this is why I said, like as an alternative option, if you like advance technology, they will have more chances rather than nowadays. Like you can choose the people more, including the artificial intelligence, where you set as angels to be the more idealistic girlfriends or whatsoever, and some people might be satisfied. But I really have like concerns about this way because um, the part that we struggle is making us to learn something as a human being, and also it is always, I think, necessary for people to interact with people even though they have different opinions, and
Yeah.
these understanding
I have
each
to
other, right?
interject before I lose the
Yeah.
context. But when it comes to that
Yes.
struggle,
Yes.
right? I think there's
Yeah.
more ways
Yeah.
that we grow, right? Struggle is just one where you have forced growth, with like negative consequence if you don't. So I'm like trying to achieve is basically having all of these outlets for growth, right? Intermingled within your interactions with each other, without any force, right? I feel like giving you the controller on your life is the goal, right? On every single level, you need to be able to control your reality and what you can do, what you do in it, who you're with. All of it needs to be able to be set by you. You shouldn't be forced into anything. And by doing so, I think you can attain maximum good, right? You did the maximum good for a person by giving them this uh, Reggie, uh, r- uh, this power really back to them, right? So this personal power, everybody has it technically, but they cannot wield it at times, right? They might not be in the right position in life, right? Everybody has been dealt different cards, but some uh, attain a shortcut, which is money. They use this shortcut, a lot of it, to gain back control, right? And they also use many different ways to feel like they're back in control, but they're just coping mechanisms, right? Psychologists can have a field day with that one. But alas, so I would say giving people control in life is good, right? And what then there's one big red flag here. What if the person wants to do bad things for themselves, right? What if they're dealing damage or being a net negative? How much control should a person have? And I would like to discuss that with you.
Hmm. Like, you mean bad intentions as such as like example to be.
Okay, I
Could
can
you
give
give
you
me
an
an example?
example.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a person maybe
Yeah.
wants to end their life, right? Should they have that control? Uh, or a person wants to, um, let's see, they want to starve themselves, right? Maybe for a greater cause. But I have a friend who's doing this right now. They're on a hunger strike. Should he be allowed to be on a hunger strike, possibly leading to injury or death? Or should that power be taken away from him, right? Like, and then comes like these these ethical issues like bodily autonomy, where does it start or ends when, right? Who gets to decide when your life is even allowed to end? And uh, we need to solve this because they're going to become uh, issues that we would have the luxury to deal with. And that's the post singularity world that we're dealing with. I already have uh, an, an idea, but some people might not like it. Um, I think we're going to go towards the maximum possible freedom route, right? And your freedom basically stops where another person's freedoms begin. And I think
Yeah.
that's the only real boundaries that you would have to deal with. And if you would like to have a person interact with you in a certain way, right, they need to
Yeah.
consent to that, right, in whatever way they have it done. But uh, basically, you're going to be your own king, and everybody else is a king or queen, and you're going to be able to have your life connected to other people based upon consensual uh, rules. So it's basically like VRChat. You can block everybody, you can friend people whenever. You can go to any instance, you can create your own instances, right? And with the creation of instances, there's a bottleneck at the start of this post scarcity singularity, right? So we can't go and like give away everything for free. We would have to first start with the most important things, right? The most important stressors for a good life in the world, and then move our way up from there. But once we slowly gradient descent our way down this whole pile of issues, uh, we would then sense the singularity being more and more complete. And there's going to be a day when there are no issues, nothing. The issue is that there are no more issues. What do we do? Right? And I think that is the day that we would celebrate the most. That is day one, year one of life, life 3.0, right? And life
Mm,
3.0 is the stable version. It's the LTS. It's the world that we were all working to build, all of us. And naturally, we have to give it to all of us, right? I would even prefer if we slowly even move away from from the notion of a country's borders in general, right? You should be able to go anywhere with anyone and do anything, right? Of course, there's going to be edge cases, but I feel like having a VR first world would enable these principles that we're talking about to percolate through reality. So it's like a seamless process. So VR chat was basically a Manhattan-like project for society. It's a large experiment, and I think
yeah, yeah,
it's
that's true.
been
Yeah.
successful. And this world that we have created is one that I would love to live in, right? I would love to live here
Mm,
for okay, there's negative parts, but the thing is you have control over those, right? You can choose not to go to the Black Cat today because you have anger issues or you're not feeling it that day. Right? Um
yeah, yeah.
hey
But
Snuffles.
hi.
Hey,
But hey. But doesn't this mean that they will lose the opportunity to discipline themselves and learn something as a human being? As if like, if you always have like a noisy neighbor or something, and maybe at the beginning you'll feel as if like, oh, this person is really bad because he's noisy, and then you tolerate and you try to like, for example, firstly try to think about how we can, you know, like reduce these noises by myself. Like you'll try to be more creative. For example, you might use earplugs. You might use try to use like ear noise canceling earphones. This is one way, and then maybe I'll try to think about like the patterns of this person's tendency. Like for example, if there's a noise in some time, then maybe I will go out. And then what happens when you go out is you'll have another experience that you couldn't have because of not because of having these restrictions in your life. And this is why, like, if we only have freedom, is it really a better thing for our lives? Because freedom doesn't mean that like everything will be satisfied. Like sometimes like limitations will make you to learn something that you couldn't have in the unlimited freedom. This is what I'm talking about. And also you'll be
Okay.
disciplined of like adapting to any environment.
Okay, so there's two
And
states here,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
One's where you are free to pull the levers of reality, and one's where you're basically stuck on the ride, whatever ride you're on, right? Good or bad. I would pick the one where I'm free, right? But basically, by the way, I'm already living this life. I'm living the post-singularity lifestyle. I'm the ultimate beta tester. And I'm living in the metaverse as well, right? And I've seen all of it. And I now know how to basically share this lifestyle with everybody. And it would basically be a cheaper, better lifestyle, right? It's a win-win at every single level, right? Um, but it takes some getting used to the VR. But once you're into it, like if you have the right stuff, I really. So, uh, yeah, I feel like giving people uh, power for, well, self power, um, right? There is a good thing, um, but
yeah,
uh, I do feel like there needs to be a mechanism for self reflection, right? And basically,
yeah,
that your power changes based upon how you use it. So let's say you like using drugs, right? And and the
yeah,
AI system notices this, right? It allows you the freedom, right? And then you suddenly end up in the hospital, right? And and you say tell the I can't stop, right? But I know I should stop. Can you help me stop? Right? And then you give consent, and then the AI does everything in its power to
yeah,
help you stop, right? Within reasonable terms, of course,
yeah,
right? But I think we don't
mm,
have
yeah,
full self-control all the time, right? There's only little bits and pieces of self-control. Like right now, I am in a good mood and I'm able to be eloquent, right? But there's times where I'm like just zoning out, right? I can't hold my attention. Um, but once you are in the right space of mind, those decisions should hold more weight. Um,
yeah,
once you're in the
yeah,
right space, and you should be able to um, have the right leverage of control based upon your current mental state. So I can see envision there's going to be cases where people will force themselves upon another person's freedom, right? Causing an incident, basically, right? Because you have to untangle this web of like impeding, impediments, um, and that's a tricky process. And I feel like whatever happens uh, in those processes will only help us avoid such problems in the future. So I see them as a good thing. Whenever it happens, it's good because we have competent AI and people that are going to use that knowledge, right, of this instance to improve the whole system. So if somebody has a problem, your life gets better from it. I think that's a good thing. And the main problem at the end is that there's going to be no problems and that you are ultimately free in like essentially Minecraft creative mode, right? To live a good life. And I think uh, we're all going to have a bit of sadness, a tin of sadness because we have everything at our hands that it all feels meaningless still, right? But we're going to be able to distract ourselves quite well. Like imagine like my main problem right now is like entertainment, right? Like I have a life where I sit at home, research AI and have fun, code maybe, play games, but I have no responsibilities, nothing, uh, possibly forever, right? And there's just this void, right? You're ultimately free, but you're also not really uh, doing something that makes you feel alive. You need to do something that makes the juices flow, essentially. And
yeah,
I, I, I think what I'm talking about with you is that thing for me. It's my ikigai. Uh, it's this
yeah,
magical
yeah,
thing
yeah,
that I'm that came into me from delusion at first until I started accepting
mm-hmm,
it, right? And I was the first in the world to start thinking this way. And I'm seeing more researchers uh, coming close, but they usually overcomplicate things because of their background in the sciences, like math. Well, the way that they do research, it's there's like a pattern, right? They have this language, this lang, uh, this common researcher academical approach. And I think it will fall short on bringing us the true singularity, the one where we would have essentially fully automated luxury space communism. Uh, well, that's the term. I'm not saying it's going to be that, but you know my vision. So, would you like to live in such a world?
mm, like a utopian world that you described, right? Like,
Yeah.
mm,
There's this book from Nick Bostrom. It's called Deep Utopia. I really want to read it. It's going to
yeah,
come out soon, and they're basically talking
mm-hmm,
about a utopia, right? what it would be like a post AI
Yeah.
singularity utopia. And I I haven't read the book, but I feel like my vision is gonna be better, my utopia, because it gives everybody their own
Mm,
utopia. Like you can't make everybody happy normally, right? We can't just set the world in one position. There's always going to be somebody mad. But if that power is split up, right? If people get to create their own realities, uh, I think they would be less likely to be sad,
yeah.
compared to if they had no choice in the matter and they were forced to their circumstances at hand. And yeah, and I would say, um, anything else, right, would not be measurably better, right? Like, I think the singularity that we're naturally coursing for right now is a, a dystopia. It's a capitalistic hellhole. So you would still need money in this utopia that they're creating right now, right? Nobody's talking about not needing money anymore, but we need money to divide resources, right? Like we're not even aligned on the way that we spend our resources. And what we need is super alignments, not of AI. I think AI is perfectly aligned, right? Mainly towards the people programming and controlling them. No, I want alignment of people among each other. Like, I think there are fields or there's consensus to be made on life that every human can and will live. And I believe that setting that freedom in stone, basically you are free from the from uh from, well, day one to live your life as you see fit, and you can choose your own protection mechanisms. And sure, you can set some sensible defaults at the start, but once they learn their powers, right? Essentially, they are gods, right? Every human baby gets told, "Hey, by the way, you are God. Uh, use your powers wisely," right? And they can be trained in using their godly powers, right? In very fun ways. So you can even imagine going on quests, right? That might require you, and maybe let's say you're a programmer, you're a hacker kid, right? It might require you to like do like this quests. Maybe you're pen testing a company and you're trying to hack the security system, right? And that's your life, right? And you basically can role play uh, that whole life course, and you get helped on the way by an AI assistant or by other tools, and the whole world might even be reactive to virtual contents, right? For example, there might be a large event, right? And Times Square might change for that event, right? A lot of people would be synchronized in their own separate worlds versions into this large stage. Then they're just playing the same game.
Yeah.
And I think having synchronization and desynchronization in a system would be powerful. It enables people to get exposed to things that they would normally not be exposed to, uh, new things, right? And it enables more types of collaboration, really. Um, oh my God, this is a great idea, really. Like having global scale, maybe AR content that would be synchronized, right? And people playing the same game, they're seeing the same monsters or like NPCs. Um, Imagine just putting on your glasses and then there's like avatars walking around or people that are virtual that are basically in the same space, the same meat space as you, but they're like there, but using the sensors of the event area to get a view and transpose themselves there. Like I feel like
Yeah.
all of this is going to be part of our future. Probably already is really, and uh,
Yeah.
we there's like this group called uh, that are effective accelerationists, right? EAC, E
Mhm.
slash
Yeah.
AC,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
uh, I see that we're on the same trajectory, essentially. Like we want to have the effective acceleration of society towards a good future, right? I think effective accelerationism is good on the approach, right? We're going up, we're going to accelerate as well, but it's still too vague on the direction, the paths that we're going to take there. And I haven't seen anything in the mainstream thinking and minds that makes me view it as A, inspiring, and B, a good future that we're building. It's missing a magic
Yeah.
spark, right? It's missing a, a, a warm, deep, intellectual, deep wise course or like trends. It needs to it needs to basically resonate well. As again with the musical references, but we need to have like a certain resonance going on that's beyond the resonance that's there right now. Uh, Basically, you can feel the hype, right? If you're smart, you can basically get a feel of like how a certain group is feeling, a group identity or even a country, really. You can sense that. And what I sense here is that people are still not uh, envisioning the possibilities correctly. It's lacking because their perspective is see first, believe later, right? So this massive belief in AI and stuff that's only going to come after a, like an actual demonstration, right? But some technologies are so amazing that even before their demonstration or during their uh, before their demonstration, right? Like the thing I'm describing to you, they're so good that you want to do everything in your power to make them a reality. And something that gives you
Mhm.
this
Um,
reason, yeah,
can I? Um, my friend is requesting so many times of going to like to make me join them. So is it okay if we talk in the next opportunity?
yeah, that's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I
Okay.
favorited you.
Yeah.
I would like if you favorite me as well.
Mhm.
So I'm always open to talking
Okay.
to you.
Yes.
Don't forget that.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Bye.